You know what, it's 101, so we'll go ahead and get started. Jake just called, he's the first thing on our agenda, but he just called, we got caught up with the telephone issue, so he's on his way right now. So maybe we'll go ahead and hop to number 2, the tax hearing. So we're required by law each year to set our tax rate, and so next week board meeting will make a recommendation for the tax rate. I'll try to give a brief overview without going into Missouri finance, school finance, because that would be about a 6-week course and we'd all be bored to death with it. But essentially, with assessed valuation, if it goes up, the Hancock Amendment limits how much we can benefit from that. Also, there's some issue with some Prop C rollback money if that amount of money increases from the state each year. That also affects a little bit where we set our levy. And so we do have to roll our levy back a little bit. We are making a recommendation. We worked with LJ Hart and Dr. Edgar and Katie and everything. We're gonna make a recommendation. Last year the overall levy was at $437.44. This year we're gonna make the recommendation that it be set at $434.51, and we're actually gonna move a little bit of money into debt service. From that, we're allowed to do that. And what that's going to do, without getting into a lot of detail right now, because that will be something we discuss at later meetings, but there are a couple opportunities for us to prepay some notes in March of 23 and March of 24 that will save us about $365,000 in interest. Also will increase our bonding capacity a little more quickly as well too. So we're making that recommendation. We rolled the debt service at 53 cents. But the other piece of this is that it's also going to bring the overall tax rate down for our consumers or for our people down 0.293. So while it is good that our assessed valuation is up, we obviously couldn't take advantage of all of that. Even with our tax rate rollback slightly though, we are looking at about 1.7 million in increased revenue, even with that rollback levy. So I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have about that.
One point that I would like to make in regards to that is the timing was right. Several of you have been on the finance committee for a couple of years, and you know that a couple of years ago our CPI was down and it looked like we went ahead and took the 10 cents. We took the variance, and publicly it was not a very good situation for us, because it looked like we were raising taxes without asking the taxpayers for approval. And so this worked out perfect for us with the levy being in April, where the taxes are going to actually be cheaper than they were a year ago. So I don't think you can go wrong with this perfect storm, I guess. And still generate $1.7 million more in revenue.
Hopefully we can get the same amount of publicity.
Yeah, the other way. Yeah.
What has been an average, if it's 1.7 up, what has it been in past years?
Can you pull that up?
Increase in revenue? I assume that's a nice windfall for us, is that
Yeah.
a fair statement?
Yeah, and it's mostly because of that increased assessed valuation. Our assessed valuation went up about 4.3% this year.
Which that's a big number.
Which, yeah, that's a big number. 4.24.
And it was normally in the 2s. So it's almost double.
And the collection rate as well?
Well, that's what drives that. Your collection rate comes later on.
Yeah.
This is just your assessed value
Yeah.
across the
This
board. The
sets
collection
how much
rate won't
it will
happen
be
until
for people.
you start paying your taxes November, December.
Yeah.
But the collection rate was almost 98% last year.
Yeah.
So what we did is we collected 98% of that $1.795 million that we're stating.
So last year, of local taxes, we collected 48,532,142. And at 100% collection, it'd be 51,795,000. And this 48 million would have been a 98% collection rate, which is what we budgeted at for this current school year also.
Thank you.
And what we'll do is this tax rate hearing will be at 5:15 before the board meeting next Monday night. you have to do it legally.
Yeah, we will, if there aren't any other questions about tax, then we'll kind of go on to top three. Hopefully Jay could be here by the time you time about it.
Just one thing, Robert.
Sure.
Yeah, was that, let me sure, we were at 437, we're going to 434.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Thanks.
So number 3 on the agenda there, the board has asked that we have the agenda by this Monday, a week before the board meeting, moving forward. Well, what that does is that we have that board agenda ready on Monday morning, the week before the board meeting. Means our board agenda is complete prior to us having this finance committee meeting now every month. And so I'm gonna make the recommendation that we move this to the second Thursday of the month. We'll keep it at 1 o'clock, that way, try to make that as little disruption for people who are on the committee and may have that time set. But that will give me about a day and a half, if there's anything that comes from the finance committee, to be able to put that on the agenda, so that it's on the board meeting that month. Otherwise, I'm afraid the finance committee would just be operating a month behind all the time, and we don't want that. So moving forward, we'll plan on having this committee meeting on the second Thursday of the month at 1 o'clock. And I hope Jake will be here by now.
You good, thanks. What was the date? September?
Yeah, September, so the next meeting would be, let me look at the calendar here.
Yeah, we usually have it first or second, third Tuesday.
We usually have the third Monday is what we've been on. And so we're moving to the
That's just-
second Thursday.
Back.
The second Thursday?
Yes.
Okay, good. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
what, the next one be
September 8th.
September 8th.
September 8th, okay.
Yeah.
So now they'll kind of traditionally fall on Thursdays.
Yep.
No, I think that's a great idea to do it.
Like I say, want to be able to give us enough time that anything that comes up at the finance committee meeting, we can get that on the agenda for the month.
While we have a minute, how about an update on Hilliard?
I'll let you do that.
Well, we had advisory committee meeting on Friday last week. 8 of the 9 advisory members showed up, and it was a good meeting. What we needed from that meeting was the architect kind of needed a set plan in order to go ahead and draw everything up. So tomorrow, Matt, and I failed his last name, but he works for Gray Electric, and Ryan Schultz from RS Electric, and our employees that are in those areas are gonna go out to the shop and kind of talk about specs. They're gonna spec it for so many welders and those types of things. But I am, what he brought us a plan for 15,900 square foot, approximately, right, Mr. Reader? It was 15,8 something, wasn't it?
Yes.
15,008 something, and the cost was 3.8 million. So the cost is way under what we anticipated. And so, we talked about as a board to look at expanding that to 20,000 square feet. And because everybody in the room was, they talked about it and they said, we have never built a building in the last 20 years that we said, oh, I wish we would have built that smaller, And so I think the plan will be to go to the 20,000 square feet and then also shell it so it can be added onto it in the end of the day. But I will share those specs with the finance committee whenever we get that information. We scheduled our next meeting of the advisory council for September 7th, but we needed to go ahead and press on so the architect could get started, get the general contractor hired and those types of things. So if you go, it was about $250 a square foot is what the price was. So at the 3.8 million, if you go to the 20,000, you're a little over $5 million. And we had 2.25 from the city, 2.25 from the county, so that's 4.5, and then we had $1 million from the school, so that's 5.5. And so we're getting close to the 5.5 there. And we wanted to make sure from an equipment standpoint that we didn't take away from other areas by just going all manufacturing. And so we'll keep that number under the 5.5 million and then use the rest of it towards equipment. The healthcare, if you look at our two largest programs out there, I say largest, they're the ones that have most demand. One of them is on the healthcare side, and then of course welding is the other one, which we had talked about. But we want to make sure we don't fault the healthcare side as we're looking at this. But the good thing is, we're also filling out another grant through workforce development that will allow us to expand and renovate the wing where North Central had their, or not North Central, but MCC had the dental wing and those types of things. We're gonna take that over from the healthcare side. A lot of good stuff going on out there. And we do have, one thing that I would invite everybody to that's here today, on the 30th, from 5 to 7, we're having just like a marketing day for Hilliard. And we have invited every 9th grader and 10th grader from SJSD and every 10th grader from all 19 sending schools. And then our partners are gonna have booths, and we've had 51 of them respond to come out and just to kind of educate the parents on what we really have going on. Because I think a lot of it is, it's been under-marketed, if that's a word, yeah, under-marketed. Over the last several years, parents don't understand what we have. And if a parent doesn't understand what we have, how can we expect a 9th grade student to understand what we have? So we have to do better, and we feel like that's gonna be a great opportunity for us. I don't know how many will show up, but the vendors our partners are very, very excited about it.
How are you letting the parents know that this is happening?
It is, have we sent that out yet?
No.
But Jill has, she's inviting them personally, every 9th and 10th grader.
Okay,
So, and,
Yeah, the school's reaching out to them.
that's cool.
yeah.
And then we'll put stuff in the media, so.
That's nice. I'm just,
Yeah, when it gets closer to time. Yeah, it's the 30th.
what about back to school nights? Maybe have a flyer or something, maybe at back to school nights might be a good source to reach out to them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and I thought Gabe, you mentioned that this should be kind of maybe a reoccurring thing. To invite the parents out every year that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It should be,
Yep.
it's easy enough done.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing more tours too, like with we're even gonna go down to 8th grade and have a tour day like in the spring where every 8th grader has to go through there, they can't say no.
Yeah,
And just walk them through there and let them see what we have, because they don't know.
the parents and everybody seeing what's happening out there with this expansion too, it's gonna be like eyes wide open, so.
Well, Jake's here now, we can hop back up to Jake talking about some high school student laptops.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry I'm late. In technology, you never know when stuff's gonna go wrong, so. I'm just coming to talk to you about our next big purchase with computers is coming up now. And it is to replace our student laptops for the high school. The ones we currently have are now out of warranty and just due for replacement. What we're looking at replacing them with is the same model line as what we have from 3rd through 8th grade. It's a 2-in-1 touchscreen laptop, and Dell provides those to us. We'd be looking at purchasing 3,600 of them. The cost of everything has gone up, and we're seeing that with this too. They're gonna run us $704 a piece, for a total of $2,537,000. We'll get a 4-year warranty on these. We've always done a 3-year in the past, But since we're not gonna replace them in 3 years, I want a warranty as long as we can have it. And the good thing with Dell, when we purchase those, we also have a program through them on their warranty that when we repair them, we do it in-house. They send us the parts, and then they pay us for the labor to replace the parts rather than us having to pay them or ship stuff to them. So that works out pretty good for us. We usually,
Helps on turnaround.
yeah, and we get a check usually every month between $1,500 and $3,000 from them to reimburse us for labor, so that's worked out wonderfully for us. But I've got money budgeted in our lease budget for this purchase. And I can go one of two ways with it. I can do a 3-year lease, which would be $881,000 a year, or a 4-year lease, which is $674,000 a year. And it's the same either way, they just adjust our terms, so that way there's no additional cost for going to the 4-year. Based on maybe your guys' recommendations, and I can do either way. We've got a 4-year warranty on them, so doing the 4-year lease versus the 3-year lease doesn't really matter. It's just, you know, if we spread that money out a little bit farther, or if we spend it in the 3-year term instead of 4-year term. The only difference would be in the 3-year, that frees us up 1 year extra to get a lease to do replacement, start replacing the educator, the 3rd through 8th or computers as well, so.
What age group did you say?
This is high school, so 9 through 12,
Okay.
yeah. And the model they're on right now, is an inch bigger, so the 3rd through 8th have a 11-inch laptop. 9 through 12, it's a 12-inch laptop, but it's not touchscreen. And with the change we've made with the teacher computers, having the touchscreen allows for a lot more interaction between the kids and the teachers on stuff that they're using on the computer. So I really wanted to go to a touchscreen for the 9 through 12, so that way they have that capability too. But that would take it down to an 11-inch, but it's not really, in size, it's not much different at all, so.
How old did you say the laptops that we have now?
The ones that we have now are 4 years.
4 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 4 years a good replacement cycle. We can push it to 5 if we have to, but then we start replacing a lot more. And with these, it was only a 3-year warranty that was purchased, so now any repairs, we're just paying for parts on the repairs for those.
Do you bid those out?
Those are actually purchased through a contract that we have with the cooperating school districts of Greater Kansas City. So those are actually, I mean, it's a process, kind of like state contracts, where they put out a bid and different companies put in their bid to get the contract with us, and then we just purchase it straight through them rather than having to do the bidding process. They just
So
do
you
it
have more-
beforehand.
More buying power.
Yeah.
So what, do you have a idea of how much we would be saving if we did go through the cooperating Kansas City?
This will be the cheapest we can get going through that.
Okay.
Because they give special discounts to those because they know that the 20-some school districts that they're working with are gonna buy from them versus doing it one-off.
Is that who we purchased the staff?
Yes, yeah, same contract on that one.
Well, because I'm gonna make a comment, and I know it's probably not gonna be fun, but the specs that I got off of the ones that you purchased for the staff, I could have went to Best Buy and got one cheaper than what you got in bulk, so.
So there are differences, right? So the specs are the same. The business models are what we have to purchase for the warranty. So we get a 4-year warranty with those, so we pay a little bit extra for that. But that covers accidental damage for 4 years. So if a teacher drops it and it breaks, we ship it to them, they send us a new one, no cost to us.
I thought you said you fixed them in-house.
Well, that's with the student computers we fix in-house.
Got it.
We're having to do that because we only took a 3-year warranty the last time.
Yeah.
That's why we're having to fix them in-house.
No, the student ones, even with the warranty, we fix them
Oh,
in-house,
okay.
because they pay us for the labor. With the teacher ones, those are through Microsoft. And this is the first time we've purchased from them. So the warranty process, we're trying to still figure out, and they don't do that paying us for labor for fixing them. So those will ship out and back.
Because the specs that I took into Best Buy was exactly the models they had given me.
Correct.
And I could have,
So-
hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
I could have got that computer for about $150 cheaper for one with the exact specs that you gave me, and I don't think that we researched that very well. So I'm a little gun shy on computer replacement since I think we kind of bombed the first round.
Right, so we got off track there a little bit on mine. But so the business models that we buy from them have 2 additional security chips in them that we have to have for corporate. We have to pay for Windows Pro instead of Windows Home. So, because we're enterprise, so every computer carries an additional cost there. And then we pay for the warranty. So that's the additional cost that you see compared to what you can go buy at Best Buy.
Is that included in the specs? What you just said?
Probably would be.
Not with,
specs.
that's
It's
not in
additional software.
the specs that they put out.
Yeah,
It's just additional pieces that they put in their business machines.
yeah. It's the software.
Well, it's 2 pieces of hardware.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
So even more.
it's a E2 compliance chip, which we have to have for our security software that we put out as a district.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the Wi-Fi cards that they put in are different for enterprise versus home.
When you buy 3,600 of them, are they all built the same, so they have interchangeable parts, or do you
Yes.
get different runs?
Yeah, no, it's the 3600 of the exact same model.
Okay. Same model and same everything?
Yeah, same, each computer's all spec'd exactly the same.
So with the warranties up, we'll probably need, with a 4-year warranty, we'll probably need new laptops.
Yeah, so a 4-year replacement cycle is preferred. If it comes down to it and we need to push them to 5 years, we can, but that's when you start seeing things start to slow down just because they're getting older. But 4 years is a preferred cycle for us.
Dave, you talked about a 3 or 4 year to take care of that.
Yep.
You have budgeted enough to take care of it in a 3-year?
Yep.
And it's simply just replacing the lease from the last time,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And that's why I set it up that way 4 years ago when I first got here, so those leases will come off at the same time.
Yeah.
And we'll just be putting one back on. Not that it's, I mean, it's probably gonna be a little more expensive just for the fact that things are gonna go up over time, but that's the purpose for that, to make it simple.
It's a replacement cycle instead of us waiting
Yeah.
until everything's
Right.
completely worn out and having to
Yeah.
purchase everything all at once.
Yeah.
So this one did go away, and so it'll just be won't be an addition, it'll be replacing.
Yeah.
I might have missed it, but what did you have a recommendation for what we do with the other laptops?
The old ones we sell to a recycler.
Okay.
So we sell them and then they assess, or we give them to them, they assess any damages or whatnot, which we shouldn't have many. And then they pay us for the old ones that we turned in. And then they also they also wipe them. They're certified to clean them so that way none of our data can ever be recovered from the hard drives when they do get resold.
Do you have any idea how much we would get?
For these, my best guess would probably be $150 to $200 a piece.
Let me ask you this, Jacob, what is the timeliness of this replacement schedule? And I say that because I have 4 board members here, and Joe brought up a really good question, and I think the other 3 board members need to hear the reason why, because it did kind of get us in a pin and pickle the last time.
Yep.
In regards from a PR standpoint. So is this something we can change to an information item and then approve it at the next meeting?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that would probably be in the best interest in that way, Phil, and you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just so all 7 of you can hear it at the same time.
yeah, because our plan with these was really to get them and just kind of replace them in as we get them ready and get them out versus.
Throughout the year?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Donna, can we move that to an information item at the board meeting? And you think that's a good idea, David?
Well, my only question is, so we're gonna start off with the old computers and then
Mhm.
switch to the new computers.
Yep.
For the reason you said, I think it's a good idea.
Mhm.
For the students, it may not be the best idea.
Yeah, for the ones that we have now, I mean, they're still working. It would just be as things start to break, we're paying for replacements, right? So if someone breaks a screen, we're paying for that replacement screen. So those are the only issues that we would see coming in.
Yeah,
I know.
but, yeah, I'm okay with it.
But, you know, that was going to be some of my question about the time frame of this.
Mhm.
So I was wondering how they were going to deliver the 3,600. And is it going to take an entire year to stagger these in?
No, it'd take probably a month at most.
A month at most?
It's gonna take time anyway for them to get here.
Yeah, so.
Well, yeah, well, okay.
Well, once we place the order, I mean, with these, they'll probably have them to us in a couple weeks. And then it'll take us a couple weeks to get them all imaged and get them all ready to go.
And then your
And we would have our techs do that as their, so they would and we won't get them all at once either, you know, we'll get multiple shipments, so. We'll get them
But
ready to
they'll
get
all
them
be
out.
in within a month or so?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you look at it from a student learning standpoint, second semester probably is the timeliness of it, right?
Yeah.
And if you approve it on September 26th, they'll definitely be in the hands of the students by the beginning of the second semester.
Yeah.
A lot of teachers probably wouldn't want them changed out anyway, because then they're having to teach things that happen, I don't know.
That was going to be, to his point, to Dave's point, to get it on the information, or get it right away on this one.
Mhm.
Is because that's what, yeah, there's no, well, I guess if we're all satisfied with the specs and the cost and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the cost is the cheapest we're gonna be able to do, to still get them a good machine that's comparable with the things that we have, so.
We can pull it to information, and if the board feels comfortable in voting, you can go ahead and change it
Okay,
to
that sounds good to me.
Can you, because on the last, and I'm gonna bring it up again, because it wasn't very specific, and I think the board was rushed to make that decision, I still think it was wrong, but from what I've researched, but can you break down the specs so that the board will have, you know, if you have security chips and Windows Pro, warranty, Wi-Fi, what are they getting and what is the upgrade to pay for those? Because even, you know, in asking like, one of the reps at Best Buy called in there and I said, what if I came in and I ordered this many of this specific product? The savings was huge. Like it was a huge discount. So even with these things, so if you break that down, it kind of helps justify it, not just to the board for their decision to make them comfortable, but to parents or to the public who's already critical, why did we spend this much? Same thing as me, here's the specs, I go to Best Buy and get it cheaper when you're buying multiple.
Right, and when we put the stuff on the board, we include the sheet that has all the specs on it. The thing is, Best Buy can't sell these machines. They don't sell the business grade machines, and we can't buy consumer grade machines. So that's where calling them does us no good, because it's.
I'm a member of the
They're not.
public, and this is what the public's gonna do.
Right, right,
To make
and-
sure that we're spending the right money. So what
Yeah.
I'm saying is if you put that information out, not only can the board members make better decisions, but then when you bring it as an information item, people have all the information to go research. And I think then the public sees the pause before the vote and they say they made a good decision. I think that's important.
No, I thought
Yeah, I
that was a
understand that,
given.
but I mean, I'm just
This was a
saying,
given on this, and you're gonna,
yeah,
every single thing you're looking at, you and Gabriel, look at every single thing, every penny, or the chips in it, or whatever, you know, brushes, whatever, should be totally, you're gonna present that to us, right? Every single thing.
yeah, everything
So
that
it's
I
totally
get,
transparent.
I will bring to
So
you.
we can't compare apples with apples out there, no, so I thought that was a given.
Well, but that's, yeah, you can't compare apples, you can't call anybody, you can't call Best Buy or anybody and get the same machine that we're getting.
No, but if you have the 2 extra chips in there, you can list this
Yeah.
to us saying, this
Yeah,
extra chip is
everything that
costing
we have is on the
$32
list
extra.
of specs.
This extra
Yeah.
chip is costing us $15.
Well, they don't
You're gonna
provide
have
us
to.
that.
Oh. So
So-
they don't have to provide for you, then you can find,
They
figure out
provide
what
us
the
the
difference
list,
is.
yeah, they provide us the list of things, but they don't provide us the cost of each thing that we put in, that's put in there.
Okay,
Well, at least we can see the difference.
Right,
We can see what they have.
yeah, you can see what's in the machines that we're getting.
Are they compatible with the teachers? Because they're different?
No, they're, well,
They're actually gonna be the same.
they're the same operating system, so now for the first time in a number of years,
They used to have-
yeah,
they used to-
staff and students will be on the same operating system.
Prior to this purchase, they are now, but then the purchase will still remain.
Will
compatible.
remain, yeah, as long as I'm here, we will remain on the same
The
operating
teachers
system
were on
for
Max
everybody.
prior to this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just went
Yeah.
off of them this, well,
Yeah.
right now,
yeah,
as we speak, they're going
Yeah.
off.
yeah.
Yeah, just handed them out in the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks.
did they resent that? to go
You
from
know,
that?
there was a little bit, but it wasn't near as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I think once they got them in their hands and realized what they could do, and it's just like anything else, I don't wanna change, I mean, I didn't even know where mine was at,
Yeah,
so.
that's what you-
You don't change golf clubs each time you go out, do you, Dad? You don't change golf clubs each time.
Just
you
one
go out.
club at a time.
Yeah.
I can't afford to change them all.
Whichever one you broke last time.
What's the benefit of teachers and students being on the same operation?
So, I mean, there's several, the main ones are, first, when you have teachers that are not as technology savvy, right? They learn how to use their machine.
Yeah.
If they're on a different operating system than the students, then if a student doesn't know how to do something, the teacher doesn't know how to help them, right? So what do? They send that student out of the classroom, down the hall to the teacher that does know technology well, and then you're disrupting that student's learning and disrupting the learning of the students in the other classroom. So the time that we save and the things that we can alleviate there is the big one. And then the second big one for me, especially getting the high school on these, is everyone in the district will have the same capabilities. So there's software on these new machines teachers can use that allows them to interact with students.
Gotcha.
So if they're on the same operating system and they've got the same software, they can use that software in the classroom to do things where they can draw and write on their screen, and they can give students access to where they can collaborate with them and they can collaborate with each other using the software that we're providing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That would probably be a good point to bring up.
Yeah.
And so all this time they've not been able to collaborate?
So all this time between the Macs and the PCs, there's software that comes on Windows with Office that it works on Macs, but it's different, right? Like, some capabilities are built in, some aren't, and with these machines that we got from Microsoft, like, the machines are built to run this software, right? Like, they're built to run it efficiently and unlock all of the capabilities of it, so that way now the teachers can do things they never did before.
Is there a subject, I'm just getting wild questions now, but
Yep.
is there a subject that you think would benefit more from the compatibility than others? Like maybe math when you're working out?
Yeah, math will be able to benefit greatly, I mean, both virtually and in person, right? Because with the new machines, once we get all this done, teachers don't have to call kids up to the board anymore, right? Like, a teacher can be working on their machine, put a math problem on, and a student can use their machine, answer the math problem, show their work. They can display it, you know, cast it onto the TV, everybody can see it, and they can work on corrections that need to be made and things like that, that's open to everyone and it's easy for everybody to see. So things like that, yeah, it'll save a lot of time and it'll go extremely well. And plus, you do have some students that getting up in front of the class to the board is a problem, right? Like, just being in that position in the room is difficult for them. So allowing them to sit where they're comfortable and still do things that can be seen by the class, I think will be beneficial for those students.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
Anything else for Jake? All right, well, we have gotten through everything else, so, any other questions, comments, anything before we adjourn?
I got a comment. Hilliard Technical School has the #1 apprenticeship program in the state. And do you know how many companies we partner with?
I do not, but it's in the 20s now.
Yeah.
You mean, talking about internship, there's 26 students, I know that, I mentioned that the other day. And the most is 6 at Gray Manufacturing, and then they're dispersed out. But it's growing, it's busting at the seams, and it actually, I don't know, when I first got here, Claire probably had, it was like a 3-hour job in that portion of it, and it's a full-time job plus now. So it's good
There's a
stuff.
lot of room for growth too.
There still is, yeah.
We still haven't even marketed it.
And I really think one of the reasons behind it is the businesses are starting to understand, they're feeling the pressures from the area on even competing against each other. It's kind of funny, you know, I mean, not funny, but they're having to do things, and so they've become more interested in the internship part of it. So I think it'll only continue to grow.
I was in Savannah when we started this program, and I had students that were in that first group from Savannah, and yeah, I think not only were St. Joseph School District kids, but we're starting to pull some more from the outside areas, which I think is only a benefit to our local businesses. And I think what Gabe said there, they're starting to see the benefits too, because the kids they're getting are outstanding kids. And, you know, I think sometimes people are first, I'm gonna bring a high school kid into my business and turn them loose, you know, and if you aren't around high school kids all the time, that can be a little bit scary. Because sometimes you believe what you hear. And I think what they're finding out is they're getting those kids in there and they're outstanding young individuals, and it's a great program all around both ways, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that.
All right, anything else? All right, we'll adjourn. Thank you so much. Next meeting, September 8th at 1 o'clock.
Thank you.